Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachseg's learning of the Pele Yoetz. Still in the chapter of Dibor, day number 188. And he writes more Isurim, other things that we're not allowed to say. Asa lo hoinois Yisrael b'dvarim, you're not allowed to insult another Jew with your words. Danalitein sar b'dvarim, which means to cause them pain with your words. The Rabbi said in Zichron HaBracha, Azal teach us, Kol ha'sha'arim ninalu, all of the gates are closed, locked, chutz mishai oinah, besides the gates of oinah, of insulting and doing things and wronging a person. V'nifra yidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu atzma, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is the one that will exact retribution. Shal paranos yoser chazak, the punishments are very severe. Ubefrat einasa ishtoi va'aniyim merudim, all the more so, or specifically, the insults and the pain that you cause to your wife, and to downtrodden aniyim, poor people, since that it's very easy to make them cry, paranos einasam kroiva, the punishments that you're going to receive for the insults that you hurl at them is very close by. Rachmana litzlan, Hashem should save us, which means you have to be very careful. The people that are sensitive, you have to be sensitive in general. You cannot insult people, but those that are going to be insulted much easier, you're playing with fire if you're not careful. Many people that are unlearned, they throw out these insults. They throw out these insults over here like firebrands in order to be able to bring about more jokes and laughter and silliness between them. Hashem HaTov Yechaper Ba'ara Kodesh Baruch Hu is so good. He should have mercy on such people. He should be mechaper. He should forgive them for their sins. Says the Pele Yoetz, be careful what comes out of your mouth. You can insult a person. You have to be very, very sensitive and very careful, very understanding of what you are saying to make sure you don't do this. Also, you're not allowed to laugh and scoff at the words of the Chachamim. The Gemara tells us that somebody who disgraces the words of the Chachamim, Chazal, his punishment in the world to come will be that he will be boiled in excrement. It's not a very pleasant experience for a person, but that is what they deserve for scoffing and making fun of the words of the Chachamim, whose words are the Misor that we have from Har Sinai. So too, if you tease and make jokes about those people that are doing mitzvahs, you are like an armed bandit, standing by the crossroads on the middle of the way. And in the hands, so to speak, of those that are coming along the way, there's a gift, a mincha, an offering that they're offering to the king. Shavadai ben Mabes, who certainly says the Pele Yoetz over here, you are creating death. What does that mean? Because if you will be abandoned on the road, and there's people coming with their mincha offering, their offering to the king, and you are standing there and you always steal from the people that are coming, so what's going to happen? Other people are not going to want to come to bring their offering to the king because they know if I do go down that road, so this armed bandit is there, he's going to get me, and who knows, he's going to steal my stuff, he's going to cause violence. I don't want to go through that. And therefore, someone who laughs at those people that do mitzvahs, you are causing the same thing. Other people will come around and say, why would I want to do a mitzvah? This guy's going to laugh at me. He's going to make fun of me. You diminish, you demoralize the koyach of the mitzvahs, and you cause other people not to. Therefore, there should not be people like this in Klal Yisrael, meaning don't do such things. Also, you're not allowed to give out your hands, stick out your hands to poishim, to sinners. And included in this is a person who says that which is bad is good. A moida sheker is someone who says that sheker, no, there's nothing wrong with moida al sheker. He agrees to the sheker, ve'ala avo, to the sin. A meid eid sheker, or he gives false testimony. All these things you have to be very careful. You're not allowed to praise yourself in praises of sheker, of false praises. So which means you're lying about what you did. You didn't do this thing. You're not so great. You're not so chashiv, but you're praising yourself anyway. But even true praises of truth of things you did, keep it to yourself between you and Hashem. Also, you're not allowed to tell over your righteous acts and your deeds. Let a stranger praise you, but not your own mouth. A Talmid Chacham cannot expose all of his wisdom in order to look good in the eyes of everybody else. Some kind of a haughtiness that's going to sink in. And even if other people come and say, "Oh, he's such a tzaddik, he's such a Talmid Chacham, he's so amazing," it should be mitzvah, you should pain you, and you should lower and humble yourself even more as a result. However, for real Talmid Chachamim, if you're a real Talmid Chacham and you're traveling to a place where nobody knows who you are, and if they would know what a big Talmid Chacham you are, it would gain you prestige, and they'll invite you to their house and for a meal and for a Shabbos and the like. Again, it was the olden days, much more difficult to get around. You'd be allowed to say over what you know. In that way, it will help you to be able to be housed and hosted in the right way. But do not make the Torah a crown in which to crown yourself with, meaning to glorify yourself with, not a spade, not a shovel, to be able to dig a hole with, a ditch with, and get other people to fall inside. Don't do such things. A person should not raise their voice too much during davening. Oh, Yashem, you look like you're some kind of a comedian over here. You just daven peacefully. Don't scream out too loud in davening. It's going to look like you're doing it for gaiva, for hardy reasons. Or b'chiyos, you cry a lot during, maybe when you're saying your confessional on Yom Kippur, or another day that you're doing tshuva on a fast day or something like that, and you're crying and crying and heaving, and people say, "What, this guy, who's he kidding over here? He's not really such a crier like that. He's putting on a show. It's not going to look good." Ukriyas HaTorah, and even if you're laning from the Torah, you're reading it, and you lane very, very loud, as if you're like the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Har Sinai, the Ika Mishum, there's arrogance involved in there, and therefore don't do such things. Magab B'Tfilas Shmoneh Esrei, Shavu, even in the Shmoneh Esrei, when a person is davening to themselves, Hamashmiya Kol Ha'izeh Miktane Amana, someone who raises the halacha is that you should say only loud enough that you can hear it in your ears. If you daven Shmoneh Esrei very loud, and people can hear what you're saying, so it looks like you're a small man of faith. Why? Because you think that Hashem cannot hear you. When you're whispering, you have to say things loud so Hashem can hear. And someone who raises their voice very loud, they must be from amongst the false prophets, because apparently the prophets, the Avodah Zarniks, those that worship idols, they raised their voice very loud when they would call out to their gods. Somebody who argues on his Rabbi. Is like someone that is arguing on the Shechina itself. The Rebbe is the conduit of the Shechina. Your Rebbe is teaching you Gemara, he's teaching you Chumash, he's teaching you Halacha, he's the conduit of the Shechina. You argue on him, you're arguing on the Shechina. HaMizrayim al Rabbi, and someone who complains against his Rebbe, K'Mizrayim al Shechina, he's complaining about the Shechina. HaMevazet Talmid Chacham b'dvarim, somebody who embarrasses a Talmid Chacham, a scholar, a Torah scholar with words, Chayev nidu, he deserves nidu to be excommunicated. What's the minimum over here of called embarrassing and shaming Talmid Chachamim? Those rabbis, what do they know? That alone already is enough to deserve excommunication. Imagine even worse, the person says, not nice, that drasha was hard. Did you hear what he had to say? This rabbi comes along and he says this, and the Rosh Hashiva, and the Mashgiach. When you do those things, Rachmana litzlan, you are just putting yourself into such a bad place. Someone who glorifies himself with the downfall and the disgrace of his friend. You have no portion waiting for you in the world to come. You're going to benefit from somebody else's downfall, from somebody else's disgrace. You're going to benefit. Chas v'shalom. He has no chazaka, meaning it's very unlikely that such a person will do tshuva. Why? He thinks I didn't do anything wrong. This guy ended up being disgraced, so I'm going to benefit over there somehow, in shape and form. I didn't do anything wrong. No, but it's a very severe sin to use, to glorify yourself through the downfall and the mistakes and the disgrace of somebody else, and therefore be careful. There is an ancient cherem, an excommunication that is in place for someone that says bad things about the Mason, about those that are dead. Someone who reveals somebody else's secret. He's like an Oived Avodah, like serving our idols. He doesn't believe it. You don't believe it. The secret between you and this person. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to reveal that. So if you go and you reveal it, it shows you must believe in other gods. And anything that someone did not say to you, it's not saying to you that you're allowed to say. So even though I didn't explain to you that it's really a sod, it's a secret, so then you're over on the prohibition of Bal Yom, you're not allowed to say it. So whatever someone confides in you, they say to you, they tell you something that's private, even if they don't tell you that it's a sod, it's a secret, and you can't tell it, you're supposed to keep it to yourself anyway. You cannot go spreading it around town. Someone who is degrading over here in his words of Torah, utfilos ubrachos, and his prayers and his brachas, his blessings. Allah I gave them mitzvahs that are not good, and mishpatim, laws that they're not going to live in. If you speak about these things in a degrading way, and you put them down, and you don't see the chashivas, the importance of these words, of these tefillas, of these brachas and the like, it's disappointing to Hashem. So too, difficult one over here. If you say over the words in a pasuk, in a shir, in a song, and an instrumental type of music and the like, the Torah sits in sackcloth. And says, before Hashem, your children have made me like a song. How can they do such a thing? I'm not music, I'm the Torah. How can you do such a thing? Maybe if you take a pasuk from Tehillim and you make a song or some kind of music out of it, maybe there it's not going to be a problem. And the shiros and zmiros, because the Tehillim anyway are all songs and praise to Hashem. So therefore you will be able to use it for the sake of a song. But that's only if you do it for the sake of heaven. But not if you're doing it some kind of haphazard way over here, or you're doing it derech schroich, you're doing it for a joke and to get laughter. There you cannot do such a thing. So music, over here according to Pele Yoetz, it's very difficult. It's going to knock out almost 99% of all of the songs that are out on the top charts today. If you're using psukim from anywhere in Tanakh for the sake of just making music, maybe that would be a problem. There are those that are machmir on such things and don't really listen to the music of today. We have a lot of kulas that we rely upon. We try to do it more l'shem shamayim. We try to inspire and elevate people. We live in a generation of fragility. We need the music to keep us pumping and keep us going and keep us happy and the like. And try your best to choose the music, the shira and the zimra that is going to be elevating and not chalila, something that is going to be really denigrating in the eyes of Hashem. All the best.